to the Xfinity Analyst Desk here in the Oracle Arena and for the Intel Extreme Masters Oakland. We are in the middle of our grand final, and it is match point for the Unicorns of Love if they wish to take it. What will the Flash Wolves have to do? What are they thinking about going into this next pick and ban phase? They are on the blue side, and what I find personally a very interesting storyline is that we started from MMD is in. How is he going to do at the beginning of the tournament or the beginning of the day? Oh, he's doing surprisingly well. Well, we're going to craft a pick and ban phase entirely around them, and then it's kind of going down. So that seems to be the crux for them.
We've basically come full circle.
Yeah.
We're back to being like, oh, maybe we should have just sat MMD. We should just bring in Rins at this point. Now, I think that Flash Wolves, they need to stop going for the Vel'Koz here. They need to prioritize their picks better, because the Ashe made it through the draft. They decided to go for the Jhin, gives the Ashe over to the Unicorns of Love, and Veritas really utilized those Ashe arrows time and time again to create picks on players like Maple, who's such a crucial carry on the side of Flash Wolves.
That's what it comes down to. They need to empower Maple and give him the tools to step up and to be a playmaker and a primary carry for the team.
I'm ready for his Zed. Let's see his Zed. Bring it back.
That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. If it happens, what do you do then?
Well, I hope
you
he
said that
uses
other things wasn't going to happen.
Zed skin.
Oh, okay. No, if it was more in terms of like a bet or something, because before you're like, oh, the Vel'Koz is never going to get locked in twice. So.
Well, I only said that once against the Bard, but yeah, as he was speaking, I think that the Ashe priority definitely has to come in, because what's happening is that I feel like they're putting so much emphasis onto the Nidalee. There's a lot of picks that are very powerful, but that are not going through, such as the Jace. And this is just a matter of the meta that's developing within the game. That if you stick to the picks that you think are really good, but aren't really working, that you really struggle, and that's what's happening. Karthus is having an amazing score line, but he's really not doing a whole lot outside of that. He gets caught, and if you don't really snowball very quickly on the Nidalee, you can't do a whole lot, especially if you don't have tanks on
Yeah, contrasted to Move, who just goes to that Rek'Sai and just plays out of his mind as well. Bans for the Flash Wolves, the first two are in there, Bard and Cassiopeia, and then Syndra, of course, from the Unicorns of Love, as we have come to know, and it's probably 100% banned in this tournament on the red side.
Yeah, I think this time the Cassiopeia ban is just indicative of them wanting to take that Ryze again. They probably felt like they could have done a whole lot of playmaking if the Ryze was not against Cassiopeia, just because of the matchup. I mean, we saw just how bad it was, as Frost has mentioned. You got to look at Cassiopeia dead in the eyes, and you just get petrified. And immediately they recognized that Cassiopeia was their answer. They tried and they got foiled, so now they got to make a new one.
I mean, honestly, Flash Wolves could just go back to Orianna. They played it in the first game into... All right, never mind, sorry. My notes are backwards. They didn't do it. They played it in the last... They played in the other series.
I don't know what that was. Let's just continue going.
All right.
No, I would never do that without warning everybody, anybody. So Syndra and Ryze ban. So as you can say, that plan of maybe first picking that Ryze is not what they can do. They're going to ban out the Tahm Kench again. Maybe that Bard ban comes in again. We'll see what the Unicorns of Love want to do and what then the Flash Wolves go to as a first pick. Somebody start talking, because I have to laugh.
I think the priority has to be the Ola or the Poppy or the Ashe. It's been the two picks that are really remaining here that are really important. Although Karma might go through the bans and we might see it be picked, but currently there's just so much on the pool that if you just pick whatever you're comfortable with, and most importantly, what is a playmaking pick, then you will be fine. The Poppy gets taken away, so Ashe is a likely pick here, although there is a possibility of Karma as well.
I actually really like the fact that they take Poppy off the board. I think Flash Wolves really should have addressed that champion earlier, because it's very useful for a lot of the compositions that they're running. But more important, Poppy's a very conservative top laner. Like, if you're going to try to consolidate the discrepancy between MMD and Vizicsacsi, put him on something like Poppy, put him on something like Echo, something that's hard to punish. So it limits his options there and kind of opens up that if they go toe-to-toe, carry versus carry, Vizicsacsi's going to continue to abuse him.
Yeah, it's not something that we see a whole lot of, but MMD, like last year when he first came out, in the scene in LMS, was really kind of like a Maokai bot. Like, it was constantly something that he was spamming, because he had really good teleport flanks. He would join in with the team, and it's something that's very reliable. Point and click CC, not that easy to punish because he's got that sustain in lane, but it's not really going to be the most prevalent pick these days. So that is hurting him a little bit, but it will be the Ashe, as we can see on the first pickup. And I feel like Unicorns, they're going to want to go for the Karma, so you don't get that duo.
And this is just such a classic combo for the Olaf. You want to make sure that the Olaf can get in with either crazy speed ups with Sivir and Karma, or with just heavy engage. When the engage is out of the question, you go with the Karma to help him out, and this just makes that mid-game spike just so damn strong, because when Karma hits that level 9 where you can have those shields be really important in your mantra queue, the Olaf just goes full berserk.
And they're empowered to do this so much so because Ashe loses a bit of her strength simply because the Tahm Kench is banned, so there's not that option available. Gets some of her strength, so that Tahm Kench option isn't available, as well as the Jhin also being open for Veritas, so still incredibly flexible as we go through this draft.
Yeah.
Wow, 17 hours difference. Words are hard. I'm like
Well,
still on
I'm
Sydney
blanking
time.
right now. Let's just
All
take a
right,
look at
let's
the
do this.
hover.
I'm right there with
No.
you.
So, Ash, you want to combo this with most likely what we're going to see is going to be a Zyra again from the Flash, although the Lee Sin gets locked in, which is a really nice change of pace. I'm glad that they moved away from the Nidalee. It clearly was not working. So Ash, Zyra, very heavy utility. You have the Lee Sin, so there's a ton of playmaking potential in this bottom lane, especially at level 6, considering that the AD coming out from the Unicorns will most likely be either an Ezreal or the Jhin. So this ability at 6 should be something that the Wolves can utilize, similar to how they played game 1 in the sense of pushing down the bottom turret very quickly.
I feel like it almost forces the Ezreal in a sense, just because it is such a scary lane, but also there's the benefit that Ashe, Lee Sin, and Zyra are all fairly squishy compared to their tank counterparts, which means you're going to get a lot more out of Ezreal's damage.
The Ezreal does so well against Lee Sin into the late game. He's so difficult for Lee Sin to actually jump on and kick back into the team because you have the Arcane Shift, you have Flash, that extra mobility that not a whole lot of AD carries get. So I'm really excited to see if they do this. Unfortunately, it is a little bit risky to put the pick like Ezreal into a new AD carry.
It is, but in the previous game, we also mentioned that the squishiness of the Flash Wolves composition in the end cost them, because they will be able to be 100 to 0'd a lot of times, and they didn't really have a full tank with the Gnar only half of the time. So I hope they don't make the same mistake in that and find a kind of a different addition for the top lane to roll it out.
Well, I think that they don't really have many options anymore for a tank in the top side because of the Poppy being targeted. The Echo is always available as something, but just that 2-man unit that you need to go into the jungle and ward is just not going to be there. So it's really going to come down to how well can Karsa snowball. And we haven't seen him be very effective with his Flash because he has been playing so much Nidalee. So if he's really on top of the game on Lee Sin, he should be able to use that on cooldown and get some plays going.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that in the second game against Longzhu when they were able to, close out with the 2-0. So they did pick up the Lee Sin. Shocked. You look a little shocked.
No, you were right. The Prophet right here.
I mean, I know MMD. I know that that's a big pick for him.
Yeah,
so he decided to go back to it. It's not the most meta pick these days, but still wants to go to something more reliable.
It does work because they do have the Kennen. I mean, obviously, if you go back to the core basics of Maokai, he works really well against big magic AoE damage, so it's not completely out of left field.
Take credit, damn it.
Yeah, and to be fair, when you pick Maokai, you basically put on tree duty, which just means you're not up to the task. We're going to give you something that no matter how hard you feed and how hard you fall behind, you're going to be able to help the team out with a point-and-click route and that big AoE damage reduction, which is going to be so important when you're dealing with the likes of the Kennen.
Yeah.
And now Exile is telling Hylissang to hover the Yasuo, which is, of course, Exile's one trick when he came into the LCS with and then expanded his pool. But it doesn't seem like they are willing to take that risk, even though the crowd is really yelling to lock it in. But it seems like they will be going for Victor.
That would be suicide to take Yasuo into what is Maokai and Lee Sin. But luckily, the Victor gets locked in, and we've seen them be very effective with this composition against TSM with the heavy AoE from the Kennen and the control mage into the mid lane. They can engage very well, considering the amount of speed they have with Karma.
I forgot to ask it at the beginning of the series, and this is match point. So predictions, is UOL going to take it home here in this game?
I believe that Unicorns will do it. I really like how they've been going, although I don't think that the Flash Wolves are to be underestimated here.
Frasco?
I'm really concerned that Flash Wolves changed Maple over into Orianna and also picked up the Ashe. I'm actually going to give it to Flash Wolves here because I think they got the right tools for success.
It's a good comp.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Flash Wolves. I think that MMD being back on something like the Maokai that's fairly comfortable for him. Karsa going back to the Lee Sin, there's a lot of pick potential there with that Dragon Rage kick. So that coupled with the Ashe Arrow, I think they're going to take it.
All right, 2 times Flash Wolves and 1 time the Unicorns of Love here for the Death Casters. What do you guys think?
Interesting, something we were, of course, just discussing during the picks and bans as we move into Game 4, and I think similar to the desk, we think that the draft may be in favor of the Flash Wolves.
Yeah, I think that the Maokai into Kennen is a very strong matchup for the Maokai, and Maokai is just naturally really good into double AP. He just ends up having with so much HP and so much sustain, and then there's casting so many spells, so he'll be able to actually survive in a lot of these skirmishes and fights.
Yeah, assuming the Maokai gets out of laning phase, gets something like a Spirit Visage, Locket's completed somewhere else, not going to take damage from the duo, the AP magic damage duo, Karma as well with the poke. So I feel like they're kind of priced in to answer a lot of what is being posed by the Unicorns of Love. And Unicorns have changed some of those comfort picks, moving away from the Rek'Sai, going for some different things. And it feels like Flash Wolves, they're in a really good spot.
Yeah. Absolutely, of course. We are now getting into Game 4 here, and the pressure has mounted for Flash Wolves. A very confident Game 1 win as they moved into the late game. But at the end of the day, not going to matter much if they get taken down games 2, 3, and 4. So the pressure is on. Everything on the line for Flash Wolves. Unicorns of Love looking to close it out here.
Oh boy. Everybody's running straight towards that bottom bush. Here come all the pings.
Oh,
Deathmatch time, boys.
deathmatch, deathmatch.
Throw down the money. Let's see what happens.
There's a time for League of Legends, and there's a time for PvP level 1.
All right, let's go.
Donna.
Doo-doo.
Fight time.
How many people?
Buttons! Everyone's hitting buttons, but Lee Sin is going to grab the kill. It's a bloodbath. Karsa in trouble. Unicorns Love have to be careful. They're down a man, but the Olaf axes are coming out. The heal has been used. Veritas on the way in. A lot of damage, but no kills. Veritas might fall down here. Have to be careful. Maokai point click the CC. He's going to drop. The trade's back. 2 for 1 in the favor of Flash Wolves. The action keeps happening. Exile needs to move out. 3 for 1. Flash Wolves making a statement.
Chaos style. That's how I would describe the first minute of this game.
I thought that was good for Unicorns Blood.
No, the chaos style backfires all the time. That's the point.
Well, now
Oh,
back to our
God.
regularly scheduled early game.
So Flash Wolves, some people on the desk are pretty much already celebrating their predictions.
I guess we'll watch it again.
Well, this is what happens when 10 people get within 2 teamos of each other and press buttons.
It's a 5-man Zyra route. You're going to come out on top after that. Amazing. But so many summer spells are burnt, so there is a lot to actually be gained on the map afterwards. So we'll see who ends up getting ganked first, but this is just absolutely hectic. Veritas has a Q on him. The W comes in from the Maokai. Then they just trade back again. And Exile, a little too far forward, probably should have backed up ahead of time.
And just answering your point, when we actually come back to live, you'll see Lee Sin, crucially the Orianna, and Zyra all have flash available. Might actually put it to use right
level
here.
two.
On the way, and Veritas in trouble. Kick goes forward. Exhaust goes down. Karsa, is he going to overstep? Oh, no. Veritas makes it out. Snare goes down. Backs away.
Well, this game's got interesting and spicy really early.
That's what we like to see. Early lane phase, screw it. Fight constantly.
All we need more from this game is a pause.
Don't you wish that upon me, Papa Smithy? All right.
Oh, no.
Level 2 for Chachi, of course, does still have the range advantage. Should get early lane control, at least for now. Early kills across the board, and Flash Wolves now can control the game. They're going to be able to set the pace. Lee Sin on that first back, buying the longsword is a big difference in comfort for Clear, and already making his presence known on the bottom side.
Yeah, absolutely love that he went for the level 2 gank before UOL or even level 2 themselves. That's so much pressure. They end up getting even more in terms of summoner spells out. The exhaust has to come down. So really good job there from Karsa.
I was saying trading autos.
Actually misses the mantra Q.
Letting that tree know who's boss. Now taking a lot of return damage. Not at all what he wanted in that exchange. Sword Art still only level 1, however. I was saying has to be careful. No pots left in his inventory either, so it's going to take a long time for that health to tick back up. Move coming mid.
Yeah, pushing Orianna off to the side here. His Ghost is back up, so going bottom could actually fetch him a nice kill if he is able to run down there, but he's completely telegraphed. He just walked over about 2 wards. Now they had to back off.
Trying to focus in and get serious, but it's really hard after that level 1. But move, you know, letting Maple know he's there. Letting him know he has to back up.
Well, right now, Vizicachi, he's trying to learn where Karsa is. Karsa's going to go over, and this will put him in a really good spot to actually come around Vizicachi, who does still have his flash, though.
Yeah, one of 2 that actually kept their flashes up from the start of the game. 2 of 9. That lets you know how much craziness there was at the start. Looking for something here.
Chachi, that's a lot of damage. Maokai may be able to fall, but they're so tempted. Body's telling him no. Move now making his way into the mid lane, but Maple's on the top side. Ghost being
Everyone
burned.
ghosts.
Maple's flash as well.
Exile moving forward. Gravity field. A little bit of damage. Axe.
Nope.
Well, that was the first time I've seen 3 ghost uses in succession.
And usually somebody pulls off, or they're like, oh, we'll never catch him, okay.
This is like the most
Whoa.
ghosts we've seen in a single game of League of Legends in 5
I just love the
years.
bloodlust here. This is an elimination game, we have to remember. It's a potential final match of all of IEM Oakland.
Well, after you get behind like that from Unicorns of Love, you have to start making moves just like that. You have to try and get those kills back early on, or else, well, they'll start mounting more of a lead for themselves on the Flash Wolves side, because the Flash Wolves, they definitely know how to close a game out, and Moby Boots have already come out for Karsa, and he's looking to actually just keep punishing these lanes. He's looking to be aggressive himself.
Because he can get the Moby Boots so early, he's going to be entering lanes at immense speed against guaranteed no flash. They have the exact time, but they know there's about 25, 30 seconds left before those initial flashes come back. And that's potentially another bit of snowballing from Lee Sin.
When we look at the CC and setup presence across the lane, Maple may not have some immediately available, but the Zyra on the bottom alongside the Maokai on the top. Maokai especially, the point and click ability to set up those ganks. You can see Chachi already playing on the back foot. Yes, though, he does have that massive CS lead.
Absolutely, and that's the big thing, though, is Kennen bullies Maokai early, but Maokai, once he starts getting some magic resistance, can actually solo kill Kennen if he misplays it, can't really be killed by him too easily, and has way better gank assistance with the point and click.
Probably going to have to be a modified build here from Vizicachi. I'm thinking something like Proto Belt into Void Staff. You don't have the luxury of going for anything else. You need the Proto Belt to guarantee the engage, but the Void Staff between magic resist from the Orianna shield, the stacking that's going to come through from the Maokai, and Karsa, we already saw him itemize second item more Malmortius at one of the earlier games of Lee Sin. Probably going to see him do the same thing here.
Blue buff donated over to Maple will make that mid lane that much easier. Exile, of course, with a small XP advantage as he pushes in this massive wave. Maple shouldn't struggle to clear it out, however. The early aggression seemingly tempered for now. Decent lead for Flash Wolves in the end, about 600 gold, but well, they have control of the bottom lane, and it looks to be set up for mid lane control as well. Not able to transition it quite yet.
You can reset a bit. Finally, those flashes from the level 1 are back.
So we should all go to bot and do it one more time.
That's right. That'd be an interesting scenario.
That would be amazing.
I mean, we often do see 5v5.
Hillsang, rinse and repeat. Hillsang walking away slowly. Flash is out. Has to respect the potential for the Ashe chain slow there, and Double Red and Sword Art very much in control.
I feel like Double Red could have just flashed, and another auto or two there with the slows would have been enough to take him down. Maybe he wasn't confident of the ranges. With Ashe's 600 range, I feel like he would have been in a good spot to pick up the kill, but not to be this time.
Yeah, you have to learn your ranges and also the damage potential you have on these champions. And Double Red, you know, not somebody who's been playing AD carry for a very long time, so it may be a little bit unnatural to him to actually understand how much he's able to do and how much he's capable of. Instead, play it slow, get the flash. You know that you're going to hit level 6 and get an arrow. Might be an easy target.
Definitely a solid spot to be. Double Red backing to pick up the BF sword. 4 chain long swords coming in for Veritas. So Ashe definitely with a nice lead in this lane. The normally comfortable back timings for Jhin, not a factor in that early laning phase.
Oh, this is 4 people around Exile. He's dead. He's dead.
Moving in, MMD is here for the setup. Exile gonna get locked down. Exile gonna get knocked out. Yet another kill for the Flash Wolves here. Now, finally, a 1K gold lead in their favor.
There's no control around the top side river. Allowed the Maokai to walk in, but he was the least of the problems coming. No safe way to get out there for Exile. Didn't use his flash, so we'll have that for a future gank. Does allow more kill credit, 100% kill participation, and 2 kills crucially for the Orianna.
Orianna getting a little aggressive here onto Hillsang. Hillsang potentially overstaying his welcome in that mid lane. Chachi going in on MMD.
Gotta watch the damage.
Maokai mitigating so much of that.
Yeah, the damage onto Maokai is so much less consequential than the damage onto Kennen. Doran Blade lifesteal is going to pale in comparison to the Sap Magic passive. That is going to be procced because Vizicachi is going to be looking to harass and punish the Maokai, and it's just, damage is not going to stick, especially when that Spectre's Cowl is completed.
And of course, the double Doran, such a nice early power spike coming in for the Maokai. Gives everything he wants in that kit.
Well, he might want even more right now because all he has to do is W and Lee Sin right here, ready to gank. Might be a flash W even. Who knows?
Ready for the setup. Of course, a shortened range in recent patches. Does go in for it. There's the setup. Karsa moving in. Chachi knocked down. Is going to get the stun on Karsa in the end, but a quick slap on the ground. Going to close that kill out.
Looks academic. There was a little mini stun there, stopped the Kennen from ulting early. I think he still would have fallen down, maybe trading another flash, but actually got double flash, so I think he was going to fall one way or the other. Is in the mid.
Oh, Maple getting aggressive on Exile, but they're trading cooldowns back and forth, alt for alt. Exile running forward, trying to get the gravity field onto Maple. Still comes out with a slight edge.
Yeah, a lot of damage coming into this top lane, though, and this could be a real issue. Teleport coming through.
Yeah, forcing the TP out of Vizicachi. Already burned the flash onto Maokai, but trading it back for another summoner spell in the end. And Maple unrelenting in the aggression, but meanwhile, Unicorns of Love will get something back.
I don't know if they knew exactly where a move was, because I would expect you to stay around and try to kill this guy.
No! Rinse and repeat. Surprise in the brush. Unicorns of Love have not learned from their early mistakes, and Flash Wolves just keep the kills.
That was definitely bad luck.
Yeah.
Vizicachi threw the Sharkanaut, had the idea, missed both players. Nice positioning in what was clearly a very spacious brush, and picks up a second kill.
The biggest thing to tilt a top laner is you kill him with somebody who has a point and click. He TPs back to the turret while the 2 people are killing it, and then they just do it again.
Exile going to side mess up the arrow there. Maple gonna have to walk away, but that's first brick going in the favor of Flash Wolves, and we may be poised to go to a game 5 here because that is a 3K gold lead at 10 minutes.
And the advantage they're getting, crucially, as you just said, Sifa, are giving them gold. Maple, they're getting gold versus something like the Inferno Drake. 8% more of not much is not relevant to much later in the game. And it's Flash Wolves keeping up the tempo, getting the gold lead and the push lead in multiple lanes. And you kind of said it, Zyrene, you don't often think about kill pressure from a Maokai, but we are going to start getting close to that position just because the trades are so much more sustained on the side of the Maokai.
Yeah, also his Q does a ton of damage in Kennen. You build a little bit of HP, but in terms of how much you actually have in terms of base stats and in terms of resistances you're going to be building, the Maokai actually does a fair bit amount of damage to you. If you can get multiple Qs off in rotation and enough CDR, you're definitely going down as the Kennen.
It's just one of those things that aren't noticed when it's Maokai versus Renekton, when it's Maokai versus other tanks, when it's just everyone has their own sustains and shields, when it's Kennen who only has, you know, the on-hit lifesteal, 3 health on auto, it is so much more apparent just because over time, again, it's chip damage. Basically, every time the W comes out, every rotation, you're taking 300 health off of a Kennen, it adds up.
Flash Wolves setting up once again in the mid lane. 4 members here. Karsa maybe looking for the gank. Exile backing off until he sniffs this one out. Raptor still being taken away. Exile now forced onto the back foot.
Yeah, about to find out where Karsa is, though.
Oh, moving in on a move. Will back off in the end. Doesn't need to take the 1v1 against the Olaf. Exile positioning himself as best he can to clear out the waves, but has to be careful, has to pay respect, and the team is here to back him up.
Unless they can find a way to baby themselves through the laning phase, pick up gold, and look for team fights. You have to light things for the Flash Wolves, and we already identified that MMD will negate a lot of the power from Unicorns of Love's double AP comp anyway, so having an early lead with the projected team fight advantage as well sets us up for potentially a best of 1 to decide IEM Oakland.
Could all come down to a final game indeed. Of course, the Flash Wolves gold lead maintaining now around 3,000, about 1,000 of that in the pocket of Lee Sin, the completed Warrior Enchantment, the Moby boots that you mentioned earlier, Papa Smithy, constantly threatening for these aggressive dives, have the power to do so now. Lee Sin definitely in his prime, level 9, max rank on that Q, dish out a ton of damage.
They're able to pick up their own blue buffs, so the objectives aren't being pushed to the greatest degree by Flash Wolves, but if they can get anything specifically on Exile, take this out of turret.
Pulled in goes Karsa. Move is here as well. Karsa kicking him out, looking for the taxi. Exile going to provide it. Maokai on the way in. Move sees the enemy though, and gonna have to back off here.
The move actually altered for damage mostly. Of course, you get that damage boost if you lose the resist, but Solar Maokai had to drop off.
Under tower, taking shots. 3, 4 is going to get stunned up.
Under
tower does so much damage. Flash heal to make it out. Running for his life. Zyra on the way in. Now repeat on the mid lane gank. MMD tanks damage so easily, and Maple on a killing spree.
Just can't afford to make what looked like a really poor mistake from Veritas. The arrow was perfectly timed. Would have almost died without the hero.
No way, Veritas. Get out. Misses the Q. Oh, makes it to safety. Hylissang trying to get the disengage, but he is now set to fall. The knockup comes in. Karsa lining that Q up, and he's on a killing spree as well. The jungle mid making the plays here for Flash Wolves.
And that's the type of synergy we talk about when we talk about the Flash Wolves. Karsa plus Maple, they're the ones who make those plays, but also across the map, they're just getting so much off of that.
Yeah, this is a slaughter. This is the first truly one-sided game we've had all series. Looks like the Flash Wolves are going to be playing themselves into form at precisely the right moment. I just don't see how Unicorns of Love can come back from here.
You gotta feel for Vizicachi. He sees the Maokai walking forward. He knows it means his death. Ooh, Protobound out though.
Wow, that was a situation where you think he's absolutely a goner.
I mean, very rarely does Protobelt the make or break in those situations, but literally everything. Now Karsa looking to rinse and repeat. Veritas caught out. Not quite sure what the positioning was there, but another pick for Flash Wolves and a 6K gold lead now.
Yeah, it's the point in the game where you're looking around the map and your outer turrets are already down. It's so soon in the game and you're just completely being taken advantage of there. You don't have enough in terms of wards to actually place down and enough in terms of duration.
But it's not all just academic. You know, you can say, yep, it makes sense, but we should commend specifically Flash Wolves for profiting on the return ganks. The first ganks have been good, or they've made mistakes and they profited from those, but it's coming back to bot, it's coming back to top lane. It's pathing and using just the knowledge that you have over your opponent that's really allowed what should have been maybe a small lead to grow into what is more of a blowout lead.
Absolutely. I love how Karsa's been playing this because he's just being really mean. He's making sure that they have no wiggle room. If you get somebody's flash, make sure they have to be underneath their turret or you punish them for it. If you get the TP from the Kennen and Vizicachi misplays, you kill him once, then you have to kill him again immediately afterwards. It's just try to tilt him. Do whatever it takes, and Karsa has been honestly doing what would tilt almost any player.
Almost overwhelming how much pressure the Lee Sin has been putting down. Every single, both top and bottom side, the chain ganks coming in, making sure that no one is farming comfortably, that no one feels safe in their lanes.
And this is one of those games where you get that issue where you think about as,
oh,
you know,
no, he's gone,
he's gone. Kill Veritas again. You get to that position where it's like, okay, what does it look like where Unicorns of Love win this game? And how does that even happen with how big the lead here is with Flash Wolves? It's a sort of game where you look at the comps and you're like, this game is going to hit a tipping point eventually, even if there's Snowball from the Unicorns of Love, where the Maokai specifically is going to answer what Unicorns of Love, the question that they're posing. But with such a big Snowball lead on the team that outscales, we're going to have to see the game extended crazily or a series, and I'm talking about 3 to 4 teamfight mistakes.
Once again, Protobell tries to save him, but at the end of the day, the Twisted Maelstrom going to make that a relatively easy pickup.
Yeah, he used his Lightning Rush at the same time that MMD actually rooted him, so the entire speed boost duration from Kennen's E ended up just eating the root, and that's it. And then afterwards, he's slowed from the queue, so there's no way he's getting out of that.
Ask and you shall receive.
Hey, everything we needed.
You know what's a bad sign? When Veritas' best option is to zombie push down the lane where he's died, what, 4 times in the last 10 minutes? There's nothing else he can do. There's no vision anywhere else either. That's literally his best option, is to chill and probably die again.
He's been dying so much and having really awful back timings. Sure, he's got about the same CS as Double Red, but if you look at his item build, he has the Caulfield's Warhammer, he has the Serrated Dirk. You just need the gold to actually combine and get the Yomus. Well, he has 2 longswords as well in his inventory.
But Cyrene, he's got the swiftness boost to get to lane faster.
I mean, like standard on Jhin, but not usually for that reason. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he doesn't have the, he's never actually died, I'll say, with 1,000 gold to the point that he can actually complete the Ghost Blade. And that's been a problem here because he backs and he's like, okay, what can I buy? I guess I'll get another longsword. I'll eventually use it. So he's actually delaying his power spike even more.
This is definitely the sort of game where you have to laugh, otherwise you'll cry. If you're a Unicorns of Love fan, this is some pretty disgusting stuff on their side. There's just really nothing to show for them from this game. And, you know, the pause will go on for now, but Ashros can already realistically start planning for Game 5.
2-1-5, the scoreline for the Maokai. That's pretty terrifying against the AP composition, mostly relying on base damage, the upgraded Hex Core, Protobelt, the AP champions who need to carry these team fights. It's just not enough to cut through even that first magic resist item, Merc Treads as well.
I mean, Spirit Visage is already complete for the Maokai. It is going to be, as I mentioned, the rush on the Moa Mortius coming through from Lee Sin. Locket's going to come through at some point. There's already a Negatron Cloak from Orianna, has the shield as well. This duo is just not exploding anyone, and the fight only gets worse after that explosion, or that attempted explosion with the Kennen and Victor combination comes through.
It's just realistically, it's not like they have this insane scaling hyper carry who's going to offer so much damage on attacks.
Nope.
Right? Jhin, 4 shots in a team fight and he's done. He has so much utility, so much potential damage. But if you're facing down a lineup that is ahead of you to the point where they are all essentially insanely tanky, the Lee Sin, the Maokai, he's just not going to have that consistent damage output like the Ashe. And Veritas clearly not as comfortable on the Jhin as he was on that Ashe pick we saw earlier.
But it's really a pleasure to watch the Flash Wolves playing like this because they're being sharks, they're smelling the blood in the water, and they're being so aggressive. Specifically, Karsa, as Irene has gone on about. But everyone here has really noticed the deficits, noticed where they can play, denied vision, played aggressively, and pushed an advantage that could have just been a small one. You know, if this was the Flash Wolves from Worlds, they probably wouldn't have been going for these extra bonus kills, bonus objectives. But the mindset, especially after 2 losses in a row, to come out like this is the sort of class that comes with having 3 players like Maple, like Sword Art, like Karsa, who've played together for a long time and have snowballed games like this.
Yeah, and I think that this game has just been over and over again capitalization on some errors. I believe there's some replays that we can go through here from the series to just kind of demonstrate it, because it's like, how did we get to this point? It's 11-1 in terms of actual kills. It's just been punish after punish after punish.
We started with a level 1.
This is good. If you just joined this game,
let me take you back to level 1.
Let's just, yeah.
5-man Zyra root really hurts across all of the AoE that comes through as well.
You know what the most interesting takeaway is here? There was no ward onto the brush of Flash Wolves. There was one for the Flash Wolves, and the amount of autos that Unicorns of Love missed out on might have been critical in the first kill. And once you start in the numbers disadvantage, nothing really you can do as Unicorns of Love.
I mean, when you look at Zyra and the level 1 root damage, you're like, all right, that's good. It's pretty negligible. When it hits 5 people,
Yep.
the support shouldn't do 400 damage level 1 with a single ability. But if it's going to hit 5 people and you're going to 5v5 at level 1 for some reason, that's suddenly a very impactful ability.
Yeah, and then they lost complete control of their lanes. MMD kind of strolling by. It's the point where the Victor just goes, why is he here? Well, how is he here? And he's not punished at all. And this again, oh man, you blow your ultimate. You don't blow your flash here, so this is Chachi. It's good by him. But he teleports back in.
Oh, bad luck, Vizichachi.
Yep. That's the stuff right there where you're just like, now I have to walk back to lane. I'm so far behind.
But if he ran straight down the lane and died, you'd be like, okay, it was disrespectful. But he threw the shuriken. He clearly had, that second sense. The good top laners do, but it went wide, and so mostly has Unicorns of Love's hopes in this particular game.
Waiting, of course, to get back in the game. Should be in soon.
But I have to say, Karsa's been playing this so well. He knows where to punish. He knows where to play as this Lee Sin plays to the person who has the point and click, right? It's super easy with that Maokai in the top lane. It's obviously something that he's been able to do before. And Seth, Achilles was talking about it on the desk. And MD on the Maokai is a classic for him, all because of that point and click. Karsa sets up the Nidalee Spear with it easily, and then it's the Lee Sin on top.
I mean, not just for MMD either, for Stake, if we want to go back.
Yeah,
Maokai was a classic pick, strong, allows teamfight initiation, can afford to lose lane early game and make it up with team play, but not even losing lane in the early game, looking confident, looking strong.
And I'm a really big fan of Maokai in situations like this, where you're like, okay, double AP, let's go for Maokai with my ultimate to negate damage. I can build into magic. When Maokai is a staple pick in every game, sure, it gets a bit boring. Doesn't have the carry capabilities of a champion like Kennen when it comes to explosive team fights. But when it fits the situation, as it has, I mean, we saw Duke actually for SKT pull it out against KT Rolster in the semifinals of the LCK earlier this year. Situation is to lock down a on-hit Kog'Maw build back when that was big. In a situation like this, where you just bring in Maokai out of meta and do it in just the fashion we've seen here, it's cool to see.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a situation where Maokai is the best pick to go for, and this was one of them. And I actually loved how they picked it, even though they saw the Kennen, they knew it was probably going to be double AP, but the Yasuo hover was really interesting because Yasuo into Orianna, you can stop the ball from coming in with the wind wall. Also, you would actually diversify your damage palette and have another AD threat on your team, and you couldn't have the Maokai just build one resistance.
I don't think you should ever wish that upon solo.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Like someone's be, oh yeah.
Hey, they don't need our encouragement to play Yasuo. Everyone knows that. The Yasuo shows up, hell or high water.
Very true. Why it's so banned so frequently? You're like, I don't want my team playing it. I don't want your team.
That's why I'm excited for 10 bans. No Yasuos. None.
Is that your ban?
Mandatory.
I don't even need to do it. If I'm lost, sure.
Well, no Yasuo this game. Maybe it shows up next game. I imagine we will see a little bit more diversity in terms of
It's a fair question, though, he brings up. Let's assume it's 10 bans, and we're just going for, not strategic bans, it's solo queue. What's your must ban? You must have one champion that just bugs you.
Sorry, you want to start?
All
right. Well, that one's hard. I ban Lucian all the time as a
You're a Lucian banner. Why Lucian?
Okay, because chances are, when you play support, as I frequently do, fast queue times, your 80 carry, not always good. Lucian, bodies bad 80 carries.
Okay.
Single-handedly
a snowball 80 carry.
Yeah, I pretty much ban exclusively for my lane.
Okay.
And Yasuo and Zed, but
What about you, Zyrene? You must have one.
Right now, it's Syndra.
Okay, that's fair.
That or Vayne.
Let's assume this is the future where, Syndra's toned down a little bit. That has to happen at some point, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
No, so everyone else is getting toned up, Papa Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All power all the time.
I love it. Everyone's OP.
What about you?
I mean, I've already said it's the Yasuo.
It's the Yasuo still? Okay.
Let's assume Yasuo is somehow trivialized. Riven's the next one. I'm really happy there's no Rivens. No one dares to pick Riven right now.
If you have to push a lot of buttons, Papa Smithy does not want to see you.
It's Courage of the Colossus Riven right now, man.
I know, I just don't play top lane a lot, and then when Riven has 3 kills, I'm like, this is going to spill over to my lane, isn't it?
But that's the thing, is you should let them play Riven, because Riven players are usually the biggest tilters in the world.
Yasuo's up there too.
Yeah. Master Yi, Riven.
Let's be real. All the Riven players changed to Yasuo at some point.
Yeah, maybe they've dabbled a little bit. Not everybody, but I know that if you see a Riven, they're likely just camp this lane, camp this lane. As a jungler, I always visit the Riven lane. If they're on my team or against my team.
Shut them down. Matter. Mental warfare. They will tilt.
Shut them down, help them out, make sure they don't leave your game,
And look, we obviously talking jest about tilt. You look at the side of Unicorns of Love, this game's not abandon-worthy, but you're really, really far behind. So the question here becomes, what do you do from here? Do you just go ultra defensive? You know, basically, if I can't see everyone, I'm just going to stay under my turret and just bleed out anyway and let the gold lead accrue? Or do you throw yourselves at unlikely engage? You do have CC, you do have initiation, and try to make something happen and accelerate the pace of the game either towards parity or just towards what is looking like an inevitable demise?
For me, it would be the second one. I think you keep throwing yourself out there. I feel like you just want to keep trying to get those picks, and if you can actually put Flash Wolves in a disarray, maybe pick up a Baron, try to get some really good timings on that, then that's how you win the game. I don't think you win the game by sitting on your hands. They get a Baron, you know, they get turrets, they keep getting CS. And if you lose the game, you lose it faster if you do it the way that I was talking about, where you keep trying to make plays. If you lose it faster, you get into game 5 faster, you're less tired, you haven't put as much into the game, you haven't been playing from behind for 40 minutes, which is very demoralizing. So I think getting out of the game as fast as possible, or whether you win or lose it, is how you would want to play it from there.
I think if you have really strong team chemistry, a team like SK Telecom T1, for example, not often are they 11-1 down at 16 minutes, but we've seen them far behind in the early game. They're definitely, let's hold it out as long as possible, put down some wards, get as much as possible, and hey, 2 out of 10 times, maybe we'll win the game. Other teams, you know, that do have a bit more of a fiery temperament, it's more of a liability to pull it out because the players are already frustrated, and we have one more game to potentially decide a whole tournament, a whole lot of prize money, a whole lot of prestige, a slot in IEM Katowice after this. So I don't know enough personally about the Unicorns of Love and where they sit there. They have the settled lineup. I know a lot of people have intimated that the chemistry between the team spirit is high, and thus they can stick around. So I'm interested to see, how do you approach a situation like this that is looking close to unsalvageable?
Definitely going to be a tough question. Of course, as a team, notoriously aggressive when it comes to finding early deficits, always looking for those more aggressive fights.
Find those early deficits. Let's go.
They found that early deficit.
They found it. Yeah. All right. It's been a long day. They definitely found it the hard way in that brush level 1.
If you were in a cast like this, would you want it to be aggressive and over and get into game 5 faster so you have your energy still? Or?
Look, man, I'm not going to put that pressure on them, but it does. I think you made a sound argument. That's all I'll say.
Oh.
All right. Well, while we try to sort out these technical issues, we are going to take this chance to throw to a quick break. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back as fast as possible.
Do you want to feel like a pro gamer? Wait no more. Greatness awaits you with Intel Extreme Masters certified PCs and notebooks. When you see unique IEM certified stickers on the outside, you will find high-grade components with Intel Core i5 and Core i7 processors inside. Every purchase includes in-game content and supports the total prize purse of Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. Feel like a pro.
Come on, one more?
One more.
One more.
Okay.
Start the show! Yes! Totino's Pizza Rolls, also Totino's Stuffed Nachos.
That's a whole lot of sugar. Fun fact, there are about 16 packs of sugar in one 20-ounce canned drink. And then there's us.
G Fuel, the official energy drink of esports.
Expert service, unbeatable price. Best Buy.
And we're back in, 30 seconds short. Don't trust the timer, folks. Wild card. Never trust the timer. Moving in. Well, while we were gone, in an almost 2-second period where Flash Wolves unpaused the game, Veritas died again.
Veritas.
Unpause, kill him, pause again, unpause, and we're back. So that's pretty much all you missed in the 5 seconds of unpause that weren't on broadcast. And Flash Wolves, unsurprisingly, still in control of this game. 10K gold lead at 17 minutes. And ladies and gentlemen, we don't like to count teams down and out. It's a tough spot to be. There's always the potential for comeback.
For
I can't handle you right now.
I need, but they can't see that.
Yeah, it's true. I need you to just agree with me right now. I can't.
You are a strong, confident play-by-play coach.
I don't need no color. I already have one color. I don't need
Here's
two.
a replay.
Wow. Oh, perfect.
Who's your side color? Huh? No, I'm just kidding.
Officio.
Whoa!
Moving in. There's the kill going down. Of course, it's almost impossible for Unicorns of Love to come back. So as we've talked about, this is mentality. This is the best of 5. The pressure is on for them now because they have to be looking towards Game 5. Maybe holding on to hope just slightly, but you have to wonder where their attention is.
Probably scattered. It takes a lot of energy to keep focus in this game, especially when you're this far behind. It is so hard to actually find the opportunity to catch somebody out when you're behind. They get so much more vision than you. They have so much more control than you, but they're going to try right here. Double red.
TP on the way in from the Maokai, but he may be the only member coming into the fight. Victor on the backside. TP will be canceled, so potentially a brief respite for the Unicorns of Love as they do take down one member.
And even just a single kill brings a bit of confidence back, brings a bit of wind into the sail. Suddenly you can have a positively framed comment rather than just a, I'm dead or I'm gonna die. It's good to be able to say that you're doing something positive towards the team, just because, again, there will be another game, most likely. You will need to be in that right comms mindset. Anything to help your mindset is important.
Yeah, and also, it's like, he died, but you don't really have any more towers to lose on the outside. It's very hard to actually get those inhibitor towers, and you have to set up for those tier 2s really efficiently. So, they kill somebody, they don't really get anything back from it, but hold on, they're looking for more.
Move is going in, arrow goes wide, ult comes in, a lot of damage down on Exile. He's set to fall now, but he brings the ult over the wall. Sword Art in trouble, Exile's gonna grab the kill, Maple's on the backside. Unicorns of Love looking for a way back. Karsa maybe too strong, the auto attack comes in from Hylissang, closes out the kill. Maokai goes over the wall, Veritas in trouble, red buff giving a little bit of damage, but it's not enough. Vizicachi, maybe looking for the 1v1 with Maple, is just gonna surge his way out.
Hey, they're getting some shutdowns on Unicorns of Love side, but Flash Wolves, MMD's just he's a behemoth at this point. They threw everything at him at one point. He's not even taking any damage in these fights. He has both resistances at this point. He's level 13. He's so far ahead, the highest in the game.
Still, of course, a terrifying threat to play against. Double Red now pushing into the inhibitor tower. It's only 19 minutes in. Rift Herald just now despawning as MMD steps up, and a single member of Flash Wolves cannot approach this tower alone. MMD has the potential to take out anyone, and that's going to be the inhibitor tower dropping even before the 20-minute mark.
The pain continues to pile on. They've picked up a couple of kills for Pride, but it doesn't really change the texture of where the game is. About 10,000 gold lead at 20 minutes. Super, super early for that stat.
Stepping for the root. Hylissang gonna get popped. Exile caught out as well. Double Red does a decent amount of damage. 4-shot gonna connect though. That's a lot. Captive audience going to come in, or Deadly Flourish rather. Vizicachi gonna get taken down to the backside. Moves doing what he can. Does manage to grab the kill onto Sword Art, but that's a lot of max health damage coming in from MMD. The gravity field comes in, pulls him back. Arrow connects. Double Red is low. Veritas is gonna drop. Karsa wants to keep it rolling. Double kill coming in. The montage moment.
Karsa 8-1-5, absolutely wrecking this game from the very beginning when he got that first blood after following the Lee Sin Q. Big player for this game right here, getting the confidence back.
Yeah, elegant destruction from the Lee Sin. Really nice mechanics on point, sort of thing that will play you into form in the next game. Baron spawned, and even though they don't have the most health bars, they do have a Maokai, so should be able to take this one on spawn.
Yeah, happy to tank this one up, of course. Going to keep casting spells. MMD going to keep gaining health from the sap magic. Should be an easy take. Olaf, no tools to make it over that wall, but move going in nonetheless. Hylissang ready to throw in the Mantra Q. Can't imagine he's going to take this one. Karsa plays patient and takes it in the end. No, Sword Art. Extra damage.
Let's take every advantage while you can. No hope to stall out the game. Emergency Baron from UOL would have taken a very, very long time and probably would have taken them down. So regardless, getting it off the map, now being able to push forward. They already have an inhibitor naked in the mid lane. Let's see some more of these fights. And again, there's always context to consider here. Flash Wolves, multiple items up on every member.
Exile made some decent moves in this fight, but it's just so grim.
Off on the side as well, MMD just killing Vizicachi and moving forward. Sword Art dies. He's pretty much the only person that can get killed with ease, whereas everybody else just has so much in terms of base stats. Double Red, and then Veritas.
Oh, beautiful.
Auto goes in, kick, and that's it. Gets down to business, picks up the kills.
Well, at the end of the day, a massive lead once again in favor of Flash Wolves, as if it wasn't big enough already when it was 9K, extending now to the 14K mark. Baron buff backing them up as they can now look to push in, break inhibitors, and potentially end the game right off the bat. Arrow going in, insult to injury. MMD hesitating for a second, waits for the team to back him up, uses the ultimate. Chachi not even going to get a chance to get in with that ultimate, killed before he can make it to Double Red. Maple moving forward, running for his life, and Flash Wolves now poised to take this to a game 5.
Yeah, it's one of those Kennen ultimates where you're so far behind, you swear that it actually healed the enemy team instead of did damage. It just feels really bad. He almost has no items now. They're going to try to end the game at 22 minutes.
22 minutes, an insane pace coming in for Flash Wolves. Unicorns love a similar pace when they played INTZ, but this is the most dominating win. Most dominating performance we've seen today.
I believe it's the most dominating performance that we've seen of the tournament so far. And, you know, we've actually seen 2 wildcard teams be played against. Unicorns of Love are actually completely decimated right now. I can't even talk because they're just going to get absolutely wrecked.
And there's nothing left to say. Abilities are being cast. Players are getting knocked out. Unicorns of Love aren't able to do any damage to the opposition. Vizicachi desperate to get something there, but Flash Wolves taking their sweet time here. Not going to get greedy to close out. One inhibitor at a time, waiting for Unicorns of Love to make their last move of desperation before they kind of take them out of their misery.
I mean, you just saw Unicorns of Love. You might wonder why Flash Wolves dissented from trying to finish the game. This is Tachi.
Almost, because he used the E, he got extra resistances, so Vizicachi just barely surviving there.
But wow, because the game's so early, at 22 minutes, 23 minutes, the death timers are so short that they actually had to go and take multiple inhibitors, because the respawn's going to go
Maple gets popped, goes godlike, and Hope starts to die for the Unicorns of Love.
Really? Starts to die?
Hope is dead in this game for the Unicorns of Love, but Hope is alive for the series. Have to turn their attention forward because Flash Wolves absolutely decimated them. And the Maokai pick, the question mark for the team, helps them take control here. Chachi runs forward, though, maybe looking for a bit of a turnaround, and it is simply not enough. Flash Wolves take it to a Game 5 and are on track to close out the series.
And to me, the biggest thing is, let's look at the face of the Unicorns of Love as they walk off. We commented on the fact that the Flash Wolves had lost their cheery disposition after losing 2 games in a row. It looked like Unicorns of Love had found the tonic. They were running the rec side. They were looking comfortable. They went back to a comp that really resembles the meta, and it did not work for them from very early, from the level 1, let's be real. This game looked like it was going to be Flash Wolves, and it was about as one-sided as could be.
You can tell from about the first minute how this game was going to start to go, because right out of the gate, Flash Wolves, they're there first. They end up putting down the ward first, and the face check from UOL walked a little bit too far on Flash Wolves' side, and boom, 5-man route, and then the follow-up.
At the end of the day, insanely dominant win coming in from the Flash Wolves. Now we're going to have to turn our attention to Game 5, and who better to back us up than the Xfinity analyst desk.
Thank you so much, Sifa. We are going into a Game 5. Fantastic stuff here. Poised, I would say, from the side of the Flash Wolves, but we can't forget what happens in the early game. And in all honesty, we have a little walk to do when we walk off this stage to the room where we can watch the game. And we had a whole different expectation. We come into this game, and they are 5v5 brawling in the bottom lane, and it just set the Unicorns of Love up for disaster.
Basically, the game was over at 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? That's what happened. If you start 3-1 before minions spawn, you messed up. I mean, mid laner comes to lane with Darksteel and Ring, you just can't deal with that. And there's really nothing that happened. Look at this.
There we go.
Here's the replay. 2 ships in the night crashing against each other.
It is that 5-man Zyra spell.
No, getting everybody with the Zyra roots is really just what turned this for Flash Wolves immediately. And then UOL, they feel confident enough to re-engage. They do end up getting a kill at the end here, but they're going to lose 2 at the end of this exchange. So it just went completely in Flash Wolves' favor.
Yeah, it went bonkers, completely in Flash Wolves' favor indeed. So we'll never know how much was to the composition and how much to the early kills that they got, but it does seem to be working for them, and a kind of a key throughout this series that Maokai is then a comfort pick that you somehow go back to and it works. The Rek'Sai as it was for move, so very interesting here.
Comfort in empowering also the #1 players on your team, which is Maple and Karsa. The fact that they got off the Vel'Koz, they moved away from the Nidalee, picking up that Lee Sin, grabbing the Orianna. Yes, they got a huge advantage in the early game with those initial level 1s. That's a tilter right there.
Oh man, that just breaks your heart.
Yeah.
But I mean, having that point and click, just locking somebody down as the Maokai pretty much guarantees all the rest of the CC. You're going to guarantee the Sonic Wave coming in so Lee Sin can get the kick. You're going to guarantee the Ash Arrow. You're going to guarantee the Shockwave, hitting, as well as the Zyra roots. It just sets everybody on the Flash Wolves up perfectly, and it's a pick that MMD is so used to.
And we just have to hit the fact that the Unicorns in this game look completely lost. I mean, they're all just like lone stallions across this game because it just made no sense. There was not a whole lot of cohesion behind them because once you start off in that wrong foot, it's very difficult to find a window of opportunity when all your lanes are losing, when you just don't know where to start. And I feel like it might have gotten to them, and I sure hope that they don't carry this attitude and mentality that is wearing you down for the future game.
Turning in a bit to a war of attrition here, and then in Game 5, of course, so we don't need to beat around the bush. Those pauses are exhausting for the players as well, and when you try to get into the rhythm to come back in a game, that must have not been easy for them to keep a level head either.
I know we're exhausted on the desk, and I can only imagine what the players behind us must be feeling. Like you said, the pauses time and time again, trying to stay focused.
If only there was something.
G fuel it up, baby. Hit Game 5. You got a lifetime supply.
No, we do have Game 5 coming our way, so we are going to take a quick break. Of course, the teams have to regroup, and it's all on the line. We're going to find out finally who will be our IEM Oakland champions right after this.